It looks like Penguin may have started a little bit sooner on the stream, but welcome everyone to Boogie% tournament. If you have not seen a Boogie% run before, it is essentially just an Earthbound speed run, the any percent glitchless run, up through the Boogie tent. It's just over an hour long. It's a good introductory category into the series, and it's got a lot of neat tech that you can do, but it goes up until the game gets too hard, because right after Boogie Tent we get 3 Cave, and 3 Cave is a very scary part of the run that is not very welcoming to a lot of the new runners of the game. So instead we just stop it up to Boogie Tent. That way we can dance our way to a pretty good race. But this first part of the run, we're going to see that the two runners are going to do pretty much the same thing. They're going to get out of bed, grab that cracked bat, and start walking their way up a hill. They have successfully completed the cracked bat. That is farther than some of my own runs get, because I will mess up the menuing. But one thing to note is, if you've seen glitchless runs before, a lot of runners in regular full glitchless runs will use RNG manipulation for the first 18 minutes, or even longer, all the way through Tucson in the run. In Boogie%, RNG manipulation is just not allowed. It's been banned from the tournament. Mostly because it kind of makes new runners not want to run. If, you know, we're trying to get new people into the game and they have to learn a 18-minute section that's extremely precise, and they're probably not going to want to run. So we just decided to ban it altogether. It still takes a lot of execution to do well, but it's much more accessible to new runners. But yeah, this first couple minutes, nothing too exciting happens. They just walk up the hill, talk to Pokey, walk back down the hill, go back to bed. Then they'll be repeating that again. But for the most part, there's not much going on just yet. Later that night, though, something strange happens. It's like there's some idiot, you know, knocking at the door. We don't like that, so we're gonna go check it out. Then Pokey comes, tells you that his brother went missing and that he needs some help to find him. One thing that you can do casually that you won't be seeing in the run is, when you're playing this game casually, you might pick up King, and he can help you out fight enemies on the way up the hill. We don't get him for a couple of reasons. One, that's one more hitbox we have to manage, and makes it a little bit harder to dodge enemies. And two, that's a lot of extra text we have to sit through just for, you know, a little bit of extra security. It's better to just not get in fights. So when we leave, we'll see 3 different possible enemies: dogs, crows, and snakes. We want to avoid them all, but dogs are probably the most dangerous. But they all have different movement patterns, so the game does a good job showing you that not all enemies move the same. You have your snake, which only moves when you move, but he'll go right after you at a really high speed. Then you have the dog, which will kind of walk around randomly until it sees you, and then it'll chase after you. And then you have your crows, which kind of sway side to side. They move faster horizontally than they do vertically, but they can often get caught on trees. And we don't want to get in any of those fights, so one of those ways we can avoid that is by despawning enemies. So all you have to do is walk off screen about a third of a screen length, and the enemy will disappear, and sometimes a different enemy will appear, but ideally nothing will appear at all. So as you can see, the birds can get caught on the bushes and stuff like that. And little trick that Rin's doing is you can do a little thing called stutter stepping. So those snakes, which normally will only attack you or move towards you when you move, it takes about 3 frames for them to actually start moving. So if you just move a couple pixels at a time, you can actually stop them from chasing you and get around them. Looks like he's going to go for the stutter step. You'll see if he can execute it properly. Alright, he's got it. Very good stutter step. Penguin doing the same thing. Having to go a little bit more out of the way, so it's costing him a little bit more time, but it's better than despawning. And both of them got a pretty good hill. No, neither of them gotten any encounters. That's what we like to see. Now we get a lot of dialogue, where we'll just be mashing text, and Buzz will join the party. Now, Buzz is pretty powerful. He's got a couple moves he can do. He can make a shield, or he can attack, and his attack does quite a bit of damage. But to keep the game from letting you abuse the pure power of Buzz, that actually stops all enemies from spawning. So you can't use him to grind on snakes or dogs or anything like that to get easy level ups. But he's used for the first little quote-unquote boss fight. It's a scripted fight between a Starman Jr., who basically has a cycle of how it goes. Buzz will use a psychic shield on the party, then Starman will have his turn. Now that psychic shield will protect against anything that the Starman will attack you with, which could be fire or freeze. But that's not all Starman can do. He can also guard. Ideally, you want to see Starman guard. So every other turn, Buzz will attack. If lucky, 2 hits will kill the Starman. It can take up to 4 though, because the damage range can do between 32 and 150 damage. You can technically go past 4 hits, but I don't think I've seen it myself. But we want to see a couple things from Starman. We want to see Starman do either freeze or guard, because the fire just takes a long time, because fire hits the entire party, and that includes all 4 members. Even though you only see Ness, it will try to hit all 4 of them. So it's a lot of extra text, so we just want to see freezes and guards. Very good fight from Rin. And I'm actually not sure if it's pronounced Rin or Ryan. I'm guessing Ryan, but it reminds me of my roommate, whose name is Ryan, but we call him Rin, and it drives me nuts. So I just want to call him Rin. But I guess I'll call him Ryan. I've never actually asked him how to pronounce his name before. Worst case scenario, he yells at me later and like punches me in the face, but that's not a big deal. So a lot more dialogue, a little bit of plot advancement. You know, something, go save the world, something. And Buzz, even though he seemed so powerful, dies in 1 hit. So he talks a lot, and one of the easy things to do is just kind of stop paying attention to what he's saying and mash A a lot to try to get past all the text. You don't want to do that, though, because at the end he'll be like, do you want to hear everything I say again? If you accidentally mash A during that part, you have to hear the whole conversation over again. So that part, you'll start mashing B, and B will automatically select no. So the next thing the runners are going to do is they're going to grab the Mr. Baseball cap in a little tree house hidden behind the trees. The Mr. Baseball Cap is actually a pretty good piece of armor, but we don't equip it for the defense. We actually sell it because it's worth a lot of money. It's worth $99. And our friend knew that we wanted it for a long time, and he's nice enough to just give it to us. He's like, I know you've been wanting this Mr. Baseball Cap, so I'll give it to you. But we won't tell him that we just sell it. It's like, thank you for the hat, we're selling it now. Because we're good friends like that. Yay for trash burgers. A hamburger from the trash is just as good as a hamburger from the store. So since we sell that Mr. Baseball Cap, it allows us to have enough money to get a T-ball bat, a cheap bracelet, and a regular baseball cap. Which sets us up really nicely to fight the punks or the sharks. They're called sharks. But we got the Pogo Punk, the Skate Punk, and the Yes Man Jr. Ideally, we won't see Skate Punks at all, because the fights that we're going to get are intentional. We won't be fighting any of the random encounters if we can avoid it. So if the Pogo Punk decides to be mean and charge forward 3 times, there's a chance of dying. So hopefully we don't see that. Okay, Ryan's good. But nice thing about the Pogo Punk and why we choose to fight them is 1, because we needed a little bit of extra experience, and 2, they have a 100% chance of dropping a hamburger. Penguin's turn to fight the Punk. Clean fight. Ooh, nice smash. Smashes are basically this game's version of a critical hit. So one last fight, and that's going to be against the Yes Man Jr. Usually a pretty easy fight. Yeah, both players are getting pretty good fights right now. So for the Frank fight, little thing that you want to do is you want to heal anytime he hits you. If he hits you, just life up the next turn, because what can happen is he can knock you so low that in 2 hits or 3 hits, if you don't heal right away, you won't be able to get a life up before he hits you again. So safest is just heal anytime he hits you. Frankenstein, pretty easy fight. Every other turn, he will skip his turn to just blow some steam. And you just kind of take that to your advantage and beat the crap out of him. So one mechanic I didn't explain in this game is the rolling HP meter. It's actually really important to keep track of, because essentially what it lets you do is if you were to get hit for critical HP, you get it. If you heal before that HP reaches 0 by rolling over, you can actually heal before you die. And typically the threshold for that is about 23 HP. If you have 23 HP and he hits you for even 100 HP of damage, you can get a life up before you die and you will heal for that amount. So after you beat Frank, he tells you to go get the key from the mirror and go up the giant step, but he can also give you a full heal, and to do that, you just have to walk into the arcade and walk back in and talk to him again. If you try to talk to him right after the fight, he won't give you a full rest. So more likely than not, we're going to see the players go and stock up on more burgers. They'll just stop at the department store or the drugstore, pull out more money, and just stock up on a bunch of burgers. It is possible to get away with not buying burgers. It's kind of risky, though. It's not really worth doing. In the old days of glitchless, before RNG manipulation was a thing, though, we used to not stop to buy burgers if you were on, if you know you were one of the top tier runners, because it would cost you quite a bit of time, and you really wanted to get the best donut you did. So it ended up being just a major problem with resets. You would just reset an donut all the time because you would only have 4 burgers you can use in total for all of ONET, which is really risky. But if you're racing someone, that's not a risk that's worth taking. Alright, so now we're at the one grinding section of this run. We gotta look for slugs. We're looking for a total of 22 slugs. So there's a couple of ways players can go about this. They can either just grind to level 8 on the first floor, or possibly kill, some slugs on the first floor, and then go up to the top and get a 6-pack of slugs. Because slugs will only appear in packs of 4, and you need 22, so that's 2 more slugs than we would need if we were to kill 5 packs. So they could kill 4 on the first floor, and then go to the top to get, the last 6. Or if they want to play it safe, they can just do it all on the first floor, because on the first floor, the dots will always be slugs. You don't have to worry about antoids. When you get to the second and third floors, antoids can exist, and they can be kind of hard to tell a difference on. And antoids are very scary enemies for a couple of reasons. One, they do a lot of damage, and 2, they can call for help and really make the fight drag on a lot more. A lot of runs can die to an accidental antoid fight, so it just depends on how risky or safe they want to play it. The fastest way to do it is to just, kill slugs on the first floor, then go up and kill the final 6 on the top floor. So, a little thing about the slugs, they can actually put you to sleep after so many turns. The first couple turns, if they try to put you to sleep, it'll just fail, but after a while, they can put you to sleep. If you have really bad luck and say Ness isn't doing 30 damage and he's missing a lot, that can actually be really scary, but more times than not, by the time they are able to put you to sleep, it's not a big deal. Both of them seem to be having a little bit of issues getting the slugs they need. Fun fact, slugs actually have a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a bomb. And bombs can do, on average, about 100 damage. So maybe we may see it, but that's a chance per fight. Not per slug, per fight. So maybe we'll see it. Pretty good stutter so far from Ryan. Can be kind of scary to stutter step on the second and third floors because sometimes the game will start to lag if there's too many enemies on the screen. If that happens, it makes stutter stepping much more difficult. Lag just, I don't know what it is about the lag, but it makes it a lot harder to stutter step. Ooh, Ness is having a lot of bad luck, hitting his mark on Ryan's screen. That could potentially be problematic if, he keeps missing and he gets put to sleep. But either way, every time you miss, you have to wait for each of those slugs' turns again, and it just ends up wasting time. It's not potentially really that dangerous, it's just time-consuming when you miss. Penguin getting in a fight with the rowdy mouse, not ideal, but it's not that dangerous. So, a thing to keep in mind on Ryan's screen, Penguin will get there later, but if you get in a fight with a single ant now, when you get level 8s, one of two things can happen. If you have less than 23 offense, you have to fight. If you have 24 or higher, you will insta-kill the ant and don't have to fight him. So, hopefully for both players, they can have at least 24 offense so they don't have to fight him. Ryan obviously does because he insta-killed the ants. But we'll see for Penguin. Ooh, rough for Ryan. He's got in a fight with a double Antoid. Choosing to use a Rockin'. That's one less Rockin' he's going to have for Titanic Ant unless he chooses to back out and get another Butterfly. Interesting choice. But there's not really a good choice to make. Because you can try to bash it out, but then that can turn into a very time-consuming fight if they decide to call for help. Or you can try to run away, which is a pretty low chance of running away from Antoids. Ooh, and that magnet will stop him from having an extra life up if he needs it. At least he got a 90 damage rocket, so that's good. Penguin's in a kind of scary fight. Antoids can cause a lot of problems. But he got through it just fine. I think he has 24 offense too, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he does. So Ryan's fight might be a little bit longer. He got lucky and got that smash. A smash on a shield will instantly kill the shield. But he got him down just fine, even without a second Rockin'. And now he has the first of 8 melodies. And in this case, for this particular category, the first of 1 melodies. Because we don't bother with any of the others. nice little thing about the game is, as far as the melodies go, you can get most of them out of order. There's only, I believe, 2 of them that you have to get at a specific time. For the most part, you won't be able to do Diamond Dog unless you do Electrospectre first. And Shroom, you have to fight him in order to get the Summers, and then Titanic Ant you have to fight to get out Houston. But Mondo Mole, Trillionaire Sprout, Diamond Dog, the Rat, and Thunder and Storm, you can basically do those in whatever order you want. Very aggressive ant on Penguin screen. Ooh, 60 damage smash. I hope he doesn't attack again. Oh, that's rough. There's nothing he could have done about that. If he decides to do a 60 damage smash and then he attacks again, you're dead. There's not really anything you can do about it. But he did decide to save at the drugstore, so he doesn't have to waste any time, talking him on to heal or anything like that. And while that doesn't mean that Penguin's going to lose the match, there's definitely a lot of things that can go wrong for Ryan, especially on these cops. There's plenty of ways he can lose a lot of time. But dying to Titanic Ant is one of the biggest time losses you can get. So a little thing about the cop fight. Ness has a random chance to go first on this one. More times than not, the cop will go first, but Ness can go first on these matches. So essentially, the cop has 2 different attacks. A light attack, which does, right around like 14 to 20 damage. And a heavy attack, which can do anywhere from I would say on average about 34 damage. So we got to keep that in mind when doing our heals and stuff. More times than not, if you're under 50 HP, they'll do a heal with either a life up or a hamburger. In this case, he died, so that's a little bit of a time loss. But right now, he's still very much ahead. This will force him to get another photo, though. But as far as the heals go, for me, if I'm between 30 and 50 HP, I'll heal with the hamburger. But if I'm under 30, I'll usually life up. And ideally, when you do heal on the fights, you want Ness to go second. That way, the cop will do his damage, and then Ness can do a heal and get more out of his life up. But sometimes you want Ness to go first if you are below that 23 HP threshold. Cops also have a 1 in 16 chance of dropping hamburgers. I think it's 1 in 16. It might be 1 in 12. I'm not 100% certain. I think it's 1 in 16, though. Penguin's got a lot of lag. It's going to be really hard to stutter step. I was curious to see if he'd go for that butterfly or not. It's too late now. Ooh, this is going to be really rough. If he manages to pull this stutter step off, I'm going to be extremely impressed. So that's going to be a long fight since he doesn't have any psychic points to use Rockin'. Round 2 of cops, let's go. So Ryan should try to heal this turn. Good smash. If you have 24 offense or higher and you get a smash, I can kill a cop in one hit. 23 offense, so a smash won't kill them in one hit. Another smash. This is going a lot better this time around. Ooh, I didn't see that second antoid for Penguin. Poor Penguin. Wisely healing before the ant fight. Alright, for Captain Strong, what we're probably going to see is Ness doing 2 Rockins. Most times, 2 Rockins will be enough to kill Captain Strong if they do average damage. But if they do low damage, it can take a little bit longer. But usually you just see a double Rockin. Playing a little bit of safe by using a heal instead of doing another Rockin. I can respect that. That second Rockin was really low, so it'll just take 1 extra hit to kill him. No big deal. Another aggressive ant for Penguin, but he gets him. Good job, Penguin. So unlike in Glitchless, you do not get the exit mouse. You just walk right past. The little thing about the movement for the mushrooms, they actually have a pretty nice radius. You have to get pretty close to them for them to actually start chasing you, so that can be taken advantage of when deciding to move past them or not. Saving at the drugstore. This is actually to set up a death warp. That random cookie that Ryan picked up earlier from an Antoid came in handy now to give to Apple Kid. That gives him more hamburgers for Happy Happy Village, or if he needs them. Alright, let's see how Penguin's cop fights go. Rough. Kind of a rough first cop, but not too bad. But he got a hamburger, so that kind of makes up for it. So, a little thing to note on Ryan's screen, you have to trigger the pencil eraser. You just have to make it spawn and then walk away. But luckily, the way spawns work is you can actually spawn things off screen. So he'll get basically hit a marker up with a blade of grass. You won't see the pencil, but it'll spawn, and therefore he'll be able to get the phone call with Apple Kid. Grabbing those butterflies, each of them restores 20 psychic points, so you'll normally see them grab 2. The first one, they'll use a life up with it, and then the second one will just max them out, top them off. Penguin's almost out of his cop fight. He's got plenty of psychic points, so this should be pretty safe. Even if a rock can miss, he has a backup he can use. And very good fight. And there's Ryan. Oh, he's deciding to not go for that butterfly. There's a couple places in Peaceful Res Valley where there's extremely high chances of butterfly spawning. He's probably just going to get one of those. So Peaceful Rest Valley is actually a kind of scary part of the run. There's a lot of enemies you just don't want to get in fights with. Most of them have a very high speed, so they're hard to run away from. And they just kind of do a lot of damage. The robos and the UFOs are also really fast. Both in combat, so they're hard to run away from, but they also move really quickly, so they're hard to outrun when you're trying to avoid enemies. But they kind of have a very similar pattern to the crow from earlier. If you remember me saying they have a very fast horizontal speed, but their vertical speed is much slower. In fact, their vertical speed pretty much matches Nest, so you can kind of outrun them if you run up and down, but not so much left and right. And he's in a really rough spot right now, Ryan is. He's got UFOs above him, a robo below him. I would probably try to run down to despawn. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Run down to despawn the top ones and then try to despawn the robo after that, which is exactly what he's trying to do. And he succeeded. Oh, maybe Ryan's already got full psychic points. I didn't realize that. He must. Otherwise, he probably would have grabbed that one. Penguin's a little short on healing items. I'm not sure, but he might grab some more croissants when he gets to Happy Village if he wants to play it safe. Happy Village really isn't too bad if you don't get any extra fights in Peaceful Res Valley. It can be, but usually it's not too bad, so we'll see what he decides to do as far as healing resources go. Ryan had to spending a lot of time despawning. Trees are slow, he's just gonna run away from it. At this point, snakes have a 75% chance to run away from you, so those snakes can run straight into you to get in a fight, but you'll insta-kill them if they do, so it's not that big of a deal. Penguin having a hard time in the cave trying to get those enemies to despawn so he can move past. Fun fact, since there is a scripted fight with the cultists you have to do in this game, that makes it so you can't run away from any of the cultists at all. Even if you get a green swirl, normally a green swirl, if you get it on an enemy or a preemptive attack, you have a 100% chance to run away from it. But that is not the case with cultists. Penguin getting himself in a little bit of a pickle, but he's fine. I don't think he walked high enough to get the pencil trigger. Unless he did and he's just been having that much trouble going down. Did he go all the way up? I wasn't paying that close of attention. I sure hope so, otherwise he's gonna have to walk all over. Oh, why did he... I don't know why he chose to walk into the sprout. Must have gotten sick of despawning earlier and just decided to fight it. I don't know. Ryan's fight dragging out a little bit because the cultists, I believe, called for help. But... okay, you got a good fight. So there's one more cultist fight that he has to fight, and then he'll be on his way to fight Carpenter. Choosing to grab the croissant. Interesting. Must really want to play it safe. But yeah, Penguin must have walked enough up to get the trigger when I wasn't looking because he's got the pencil eraser now, so that's good. Right? Choosing to use a rocket when there was only one cultist on the screen. Not something I would do. Usually I bash until there's at least two on the screen because I like to have a rocket on Carpenter if I can, but hey, it's his choice. It ended up working, and that's good. So the Carpenter fight is actually a very predictable fight for the most part. His turns will pretty much always be the same. He'll start with lightning, and then he's going to heal, and then he's going to bash, and then it's basically just a cycle. After he bashes, he's going to use lightning again, and then, yeah, just so on and so forth. But the lightning itself only has a 25% chance to hit, but he uses it twice, so... in an ideal circumstance, he'll hit himself with lightning, and in this case, he got a smash, so that ended up going pretty well. And oh, Penguin got in a really rough fight. That's not good. He has 35 second points, though, so he can use Rockin'. It's kind of scary, but because... they're fast enemies, so the Rockin' has a pretty good chance to miss them, but in this case, they both hit, so he's safe. Rockin's hit chance is based on speed, so that's something to keep in mind with those fast enemies. So Ryan's just going to go and get Paula, and then He's gonna take Paul out on a date to a nice little cave to get mauled by a mole. Alright, looks like the rest of Peace Rose Valley went okay for Penguin. We'll see if he gets attacked by a snake. Yeah, snake's leaving him alone. That red swirl's intentional. It's just so we can get in a fight. Paula dying in first isn't ideal, but as long as the mole's attacking, that's good. Ideally, you want Ness to die first because you don't want to attack the mole if Ness has a chance to kill the mole. But with Paula, if Paula attacks and the mole's feeling strange, it will stop him from being confused. So it's just typically a little bit faster if you can have Ness die first, but that's not really something you get to choose. Oh, God save for Ryan. That would have normally killed him, but the game decided, hey, we won't kill you just yet. In a casual play, a gut save is great. When you're trying to get yourself killed, it's not so much. We'll see if Penguin can get a good rockin'. Hopefully, ideally, you can kill all three of them with a rockin', but that's unlikely. But he killed one? Okay, he got the one, and the crow didn't die. The crow, I hate the crow. He can actually steal your food items, which is really annoying. But hey, you got a cookie. Brian's just gonna... It's kind of a slow section for him. You just kind of walk around town, get some stuff you need. You revive Paula, get the backstage pass, talk to Paula's dad, go get some money, then go watch a cutscene. Then you walk a little bit, talk to someone, then there's another cutscene. Then you walk a little bit, there's another cutscene. There's a lot of cutscenes in this next little bit for Ryan. So I'll be focusing mostly on Penguin right now. He's got another cultist fight coming right up. Just one cultist, so he's usually not too scared of a fight unless he calls for help. Let's see how it goes. Good fight, 2 hits. He's got a lot of HP though, that's something to keep in mind for Penguin. Kind of too much. He's going to actually want the Carpenter fight to go slightly longer, just so he can get his HP down from Carpenter. Carpenter does a lot more damage than the mole, and since you know when he's going to attack, you want to take advantage of that to get your HP down to as low of a number as you safely can so that the death warp goes quicker. Because the mole can be a troll. I personally would probably try to get one more hit from Card Painter. But Penguin did already get his big level up earlier, so that's shouldn't hurt him too much. Yeah, 61's kind of high, but it's not a big deal. It's pretty much just one extra hit from the mole, but sometimes even trying to get one more hit from the mole can lose a lot of time. Nice little cutscene. Love the Runaway 5. You might be thinking to yourself, but why is it called Runaway 5 when there's 6 of them? Because they made the name and then they invited another member after. They couldn't just change the name. Troll, bird fight for or penguin. That's a little bit of a time loss. And like I said earlier, more cutscenes! Penguin's trying to decide what he wants to do. He doesn't want to get in a fight with those birds. I would actually probably go inside and despawn them. No, it's fine. You got the hit. And another cookie! Yay, cookie! See how Penguin's death warp goes. Paula died first once again. Alright, actually very good death warp. Alright, so now Penguin's in Cutscene City, so now we can go focus on Ryan, who has a little bit of gameplay to do, and then another cutscene. But a lot of enemies can spawn in this graveyard, so if enemies spawn, you'll see Ryan either A, despawn them, or B, use the gravestones and the terrain to his advantage to actually get the enemy stuck on them. You don't want to fight anything here. Every enemy here is scary. While they may not be necessarily scary individually, they like to call for friends. Not like call for help like the cultists, but if one enemy catches you, it may call for other enemies off screen. Alright, Ryan's got a very good graveyard. And now we get the winner's cutscene. Yay! So with winners, the start out's kind of going slow. You just kind of go talk to Tony, go downstairs, get a key that doesn't work, try it on a locker, tell the guy, hey, my key doesn't work. And he's like, oh, well, let me give you a machine that's good for lockers that you have for when you have a key that doesn't work. Then you open up the lockers, you get some weapons you need, and then you're on your way. Now we get introduced to the worst character in the game, Jeff! Oh, and Bubble Monkey. Bubble Monkey kind of sucks too. But Bubble Monkey's kind of annoying because his movement's extremely unpredictable. He likes to just stop moving, you'll just kind of get distracted, and then he'll try to catch back up. And sometimes I can catch you in a fight, and it's a little obnoxious. Oh! See, this is why we don't like Bubble Monkey. Reasons like this. It takes so long for that butterfly to catch up. So yeah, that's exactly why we hate Bubble Monkey. It's not like that butterfly helped because Jeff doesn't have any psychic points. So pretty soon, we'll be getting to another cutscene. But hey, Tessie's kind of cute, so I'll let this one go. Alright, so coming up is one of the hardest enemies in the game. The worthless protoplasm. And he's annoying for a couple of reasons. He's got basically 3 attacks. He can either hit you, call for help, or skip a turn. 3 hits, you're dead. And it takes 3 hits to kill him. Most times he goes first. So if he decides to attack you 3 times, you're dead. And even worse, he can make you bleed a lot of time by calling for help first. Then calling for help again. Then calling for help again. So you essentially have to really hope he skips turns. If he skips his turn, you're good. But you don't want him to call for help or attack. And that's like not good. First turn, call for help's not what you want to see. That's a very high chance of death. Not guaranteed, but high chance. Alright, so 1's down. That's good. But he's got 2 hits left to do the protoplasm, and he's only got 1 hit left. And yeah, that's what can happen. That's actually not worst case scenario, though. What could have been worse that turn is if the protoplasm decided to call for help. Because that would have just bleeded more time. Better for him to kill you quickly than to drag out the fight. Okay, this fight's much more like it. That's how you want the fight to go. Looks like Ryan's not even going to bother trying to set up duck skip. He's just going to go for it. Probably figures it's too much of a waste of time for something that may not even happen to try to set it up. So I can respect that. Healing for this before the next protoplasm. He's going to try to skip this protoplasm by controlling Bubble Monkey's movement a little bit to just run past him, and he succeeded. So that's one less fight he has to deal with. So Pond Cave can be kind of an interesting section. It's a lot of really narrow corridors, but most of the enemies here you can stutter step past. So in a big room like that, it's fine. But a lot of times, even though you can stutter step the enemies, you'll choose to despawn them anyway. Because you never know what you're going to see on the other side. And but don't know what I was about to say, penguins. He's getting Bubble Monkey right now. But the mushrooms, if you get too close to them, they can attack. You don't want to fight the mushroom. And that's a good stutter step by Ryan. Pretty good pond cave overall so far. The only thing that's left is this rope, which mushrooms can spawn at the top of the rope. They have a high chance of spawning at the top of the rope. We'll see how much time he has to waste despawning mushrooms. Hopefully none. And luckily for Penguin, it doesn't look like he got trolled by Bumble Monkey with a magic butterfly. So good luck getting up that hill or rope from Ryan. That was nice. getting trolled by the random man just blocking his way. You know, these guys are actually really good at lining up their cutscenes, even though they're not even at the same cutscene. Skyrunner music for the win. It's my favorite soundtrack in the game. So you may be wondering, does Penguin have any chance left at all? This run's almost over. Well, yeah. While Ryan most likely will have this in the bag, there are things that can still go wrong. He still has to fight Boogey Tent, and what can really make his day bad is a really bad big bottle rocket roll. If that does low damage and then he wipes the Boogey Tent, that can be very difficult to recover from. That alone, a wipe to Boogey Tent after losing a bottle rocket can set him back really hard. But even then, it'll take multiple deaths to Boogey Tent to really allow Penguin to catch up. But that chance does always exist. I've seen it happen. Penguin having another rough protoplasm fight. Well, and I guess he hasn't got hit yet, but it's just a long one. Jeff missing isn't doing any favors either. So he managed to kill one without getting hit. And the protoplasm keeps wasting its turn. That's good. This should be kill and protoplasm down. Ooh, Penguin had a good chance to set up the ping. Oh, will he get duck skip? Nope. Bubble Monkey ruined it. Ryan choosing to get the teddy bear out of safety. Doesn't want things going wrong. Smart choice. The teddy bear has a 75% chance to absorb any attack that the Boogey Tent sends out. Ooh, rough. Alright, so that's pretty much a guaranteed time loss for him. Paula's gonna have to pray and try to revolve Jeff. It's not a good spot to be in. If the fight bleeds on long enough, Penguin could have a chance. Teddy bear's down. So Ryan needs one of two things. He either needs to get that prey to revive. Ooh. Well, if the Boogie Potato feels strange, he has a chance to hit himself. I would actually defend in hopes of that. Alright, well, that chance is gone. I would just auto-fight at this point. At this point, Ryan wants to die. There we go. So you'll have to revive Jeff. Big downside is, though, is Ness doesn't have any psychic points. So to get psychic points, you'd have to stay at the hotel, which costs money, which he needs to, revive. Well, Jeff mainly. Paula's really not that necessary, but Jeff needs to be revived. Reviving Paula would decrease the chance of Jeff getting hit, but I would personally use that money towards, getting a bomb, maybe for Ness. Have Jeff get revived and perhaps buy a bomb or two for Ness. He can still sell the defense spray. Choosing to revive Paula, I can respect it. I personally would. I'm hoping to see him buy like a bomb or two. Ooh, magic butterfly. That's exactly what he needs. All right, his chance of killing Boogie 10 just went up greatly. That's 2 more Rockins he has, plus a couple freezes to get some solidify. So he's back in a good spot. Paula's down, no big deal. Good 400 damage attack, that's good. Alright, he's got one more rockin'. This has to hit. Ooh, this is rough. I do think he can slowly whittle away Boogie 10 for a win, but it's going to be a rough fight. I would heal. Oh, this is so rough. Penguin might come back. One of these, I don't know how close Boogie 10 is, but it needs to be close. He has to die to one of these 1 damaged attacks. Oh, no! That might have sealed the deal. It's definitely going to be hard to recover. If Penguin dies too, then who knows what will happen. But right now, honestly, the only choice Ryan has right now is to revive Jeff and buy a bunch of bottle rockets with by selling the defense spray. And probably selling pretty much anything he's got that can give him money. I personally would have revived Jeff first just to make sure I didn't. I hope he doesn't overspend. Here comes a big bottle rocket, and I think Penguin's got it. And Penguin's got the win. This is what I mean when I say the race is not over. When it comes to Boogie percent, the race is not over until the very end. And Penguin stuck it through, and he ended up getting the win. That's Boogie percent. The nature of Boogie percent. Seemed like Ryan had the win, and luck happened. Bad luck happened, and he lost. This comes to show you, never give up. I'd be defending with Ness, just that one damage isn't going to do much. If anything, it might actually... I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry. I don't know if he's got enough money to revive again. Yeah, the only way for Ryan to finish at this point, because I don't think he's got enough money to revive again, would for him to literally go around, look for butterflies, try to grind on some enemies to make some money, pull money out of the ATM, revive Jeff. I'm expecting that he's just gonna forfeit. Yeah, he did. That's definitely a heartbreaking defeat. He was in such a good spot for most of the race. Then Boogie 10 just said no. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm Red Balloon Man. My Twitch is Red Balloon Man 1. Give these runners a follow, and thank you both of you runners for putting on a race. Sad that it had to end that way, but it is what it is. That's Earthbound in a nutshell.